Okay everybody, hey, this is Reba. We're going to talk today about the resource Storyboardthat. It is used to create storyboards and other visual images you can use in your classroom to help teach a concept. So we're already here on the screen for Storyboardthat.com. If you click log on, you can either choose that you have an account or if you're a new user. When you are first visiting the site and you don't have an account, clicking the I'm a new user button, it takes you step by step through everything you need to know to set up an account. If you choose the free account, you get to make 2 storyboards per week. They have other options there that you can pay a minimal fee for, and they do have educator options where all of your students can use this as well. So because I already have an account, we're going to click I have an account. We're going to go ahead and log on. And here we have create a storyboard. We're going to click this. The free accounts come with 6 cells available. So if we want to add cells, it'll pop up a little bit reminder that we can only choose a 3x2 setup. There are storyboards that only include 1 cell, storyboards that include 3 cells, all the way up to 6. Of course, these are your other options here. You get all the way up to 6x4, or you can add rows and columns with the premium accounts, and those do cost a little bit of money. Today, for a quick tutorial, we're going to do the 1x1 cell. We're going to click Update Storyboard. Exit out of this because we don't want to purchase. Up here we see we can choose lots of backgrounds. These are all the backgrounds we can choose. So if we wanted to make one about going to school, just click the School tab. We have different outside scenes of a school bus, the inside of a school bus, different kinds of classrooms. We can scroll over here. We have kind of an office setting, libraries, locker rooms, lunchrooms, a lot of different items here. Playground, stage. So for this one, let's just use a locker room background. Now, if you wanted to change the color of the lockers to depict something in your school, if your mascot colors was red or green, just click these locker colors down here. Also, if your school had green walls instead of whitewash, you just click your colors of wall down here. Now, if you wanted to add some students into your locker room picture, click the Characters tab. And these are they kind of show up in accordance to what you have chosen. So if you've chosen a school scene, you're going to have school characters that show up. Any of these adults could be teacher characters. If you're in a high school, middle school setting, you can pick teens. Elementary setting, you might just pick kids. So there's all different types of characters we can choose. Here's Greek mythology. If you're a history teacher teaching something there, you might want to choose a Greek mythology character. So we're going to choose teens for the middle school and high school setting. You can pick a couple characters to pop in here. Now when you choose a character, you get to choose their hair color, skin color, eye color, what color her jacket is, what color her dress is, leggings, boots, etc. So she's made. Now, because we want her to be standing in front of a locker, we're going to leave her pose as is. If we wanted to have her speaking or sad or angry, we could choose one of these. We could pick walking just to show you how that looks. She's happily on her way to class now. Just click off to the side to eliminate these options here. We can choose another student to have in the hallway as well. The student might just be standing a little bit in front of her locker. We could have her hair color, skin color, eye color, jacket, shirt, skirt, etc. So now we have 2 students standing in front of lockers here. This is a very, very basic scene, but what if they wanted to say something to each other? We can click on Textables. This pops up some word blocks that we could use. So if we wanted to have a little conversation going on for our people, we just pop in word blocks, move them around so that they make sense and perspective of your character. Storyboardthat automatically pops in this font, Francois 1. You can change this to a few options here. So if we wanted to choose Roboto, we would say now, as we see, the text that we've typed here, "Hi Gwen, how are you today? Ready for the test?" takes up too much space of our word block. So let's just see what happens. We click it and the words are outside of the block. So all we do is click back in this area and just expand our text bubble, and now all the font fits inside of it. So let's have Gwen respond. Again, automatic text font that pulls up is Francois 1. If you wanted to keep all of your text in your storyboard the same, we would click on Roboto. If you wanted to change it up and have a different text per individual, you can do that as well. In our example, let's leave them all the same. Okay, so Gwen is ready for her test. We're just going to click back over in an area over here. And as we see, we now have Sally leaving her locker, ready for her test. And Gwen over here, standing in the middle of the hallway, ready for her test as well. And that's basically how we would create one cell. You can also add shapes, just to show you some. In the example that I'm going to show you of a storyboard I've already created, I used these shapes to depict pieces of paper on the students' desks. If you click the Upload tab, you can upload your own images here. This is especially helpful if you have like a smartboard screen up in a classroom, or maybe a TV screen, or even a chalkboard, and you had an image on your computer you wanted to upload that had a certain graphic in it. Click the Upload tab, you'd be able to upload your own images. So if we head back to the main frame, and go to your account if you have one. So we're going to click on my account. We're going to go over to the left-hand side here. It says My Storyboards. So here's the storyboard that I already created called Economics Test. So in the storyboard I have depicted a student here getting off the bus, getting into his economics classroom, realizing he forgot about the test. So I was able to insert text onto the chalkboard here that says, "Economics test today, remove all of other items from your desk besides one pencil." So this guy's super sad, he totally forgot about the test. So while he's in his test, I have this text bubble here that says, "Final question. What everyday object can be used to illustrate supply and demand?" So the point I was getting across here was that this student is in the middle of his test, or actually towards the end, and he's reading this question kind of in his mind. Then he's thinking of the answer to this. Maybe he's not so nervous anymore because now he remembered the answer. So here's my shape with a coloring of a rubber band. So he says, of course, the rubber band. If supply is high and demand is low, the market is elastic. If supply is low and demand is low, the market is inelastic. So he's standing up because that was the final question, and now he's done with his test. I input a couple other students here into this storyboard who are obviously still taking their test, sitting down with the test papers on their desks. My student, main student, is standing up, holding his test because he has completed it. And here he is at the end of the day, walking out of school, nailed it. Remember the question of the test, got it right. So how can we use these cells in a storyboard for our own classroom use? Well, in an economics classroom, I would have this printed out and I would have it put on the wall. The interesting thing about storyboards is that they can act they can have a dual purpose. So they can be room decor as well as teaching tools. These specifically can reach out more to the students who are more visual learners rather than kinetic learners or auditory learners. Visual learners, a common way that they learn concepts are by seeing items or handwriting things out. So this is a more fun and interactive approach to targeting those visual learners rather than just having them read the textbook. There seems to be other items out there that focus on little claps that you can do for kinetic learners or different songs you can make up for auditory learners. But for visual learners, this is really something that can go out there and kind of grab their attention. Also in classrooms, if you were to have your students create storyboards, this is a very easy interface to use. It really goes step by step. You really have a lot of options out there, as you saw earlier with choosing a school background or historical background and the characters that you can put in there. It can go for a wide variety of classrooms. You could use this in math by having students do storyboards for math vocabulary. You can use this in history by having students do a timeline of historical events for a certain time period. It can really be used by any teacher in any subject. This can be used by elementary students all the way up to high school students, and of course all the way through college as well. In the high school and middle school setting, this might really attract the graphic designers of the classroom, students who are more artsy. They may love something like this to be able to create little storyboards and pictures themselves. So those are some ways that it's going to appeal to your students, and how we can use the resource by having it be up on the walls as decor, and also use as a functional aspect of getting the students to understand a concept in a different way than just reading it in a book. So if I had this hanging up in my classroom and it was an economics classroom, I would have this hanging up. The students would be seeing it as they walked into the classroom each day. When it was time for the test, if I was going to be testing on this concept of the rubber band and depicting what the market is, elastic or inelastic, if that was the concept that was going to be one of the questions on the test, I would remove the storyboard from the wall during the test, and I might have a question that says, what everyday object can be used to illustrate supply and demand? Off to the side, I would say, remember the storyboard that used to hang in the classroom about the student who forgot his economics test. Those little words might spark a remembrance in a student to think, oh yeah, I remember seeing those pictures when I walked into the classroom. Seeing those words on the test, relating it to a picture that they saw in the classroom, might bring back the memory to them that the object is a rubber band. So this is just one example of a way that we can reach a student who has a visual learning mastery over someone who has maybe auditory or kinetic. So this is our storyboard app that we created. Thank you for listening today. Have a great day.